The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, everybody, and welcome to the webinar that we are doing for Social Security benefits and how to potentially maximize your benefits. I am doing this presentation through AFIA, the American Financial Education Alliance. They're the people who contacted me and Mike to start doing local workshops in libraries in the area. They are a true 501c nonprofit, so they contacted me because they wanted to get this information out there to everybody. Obviously, since we are in uncertain times, I am in my home office here, actually in my wife's home office, because she's the one who does work from home. I have temporarily taken over her office for the time being, and she's been a really good sport about it and watching the kids for me. So they're out for a walk. Hopefully we don't have any noises coming from up above me, but if you hear some banging or some screaming, that's probably just one of my children. But let's go ahead and get started here. This is me. I am a financial and tax planner here in Maryland. I am on 105.7 The Fan on Saturday and Sunday mornings. I'm on 680 WCBM AM on Saturday and Sunday mornings as well. I have been featured in Baltimore Magazine and Forbes Magazine. Forbes actually ranked me as the number 26, I believe it was, financial advisor in the state of Maryland. And I've been named 5-star wealth manager every single year, which ranks me among the top 5% of all financial advisors and wealth advisors in Maryland, going back all the way to 2013. Using the slideshow that I typically use in sessions when we're doing these inside of libraries, inside of the community centers. But there is a little box here for questions. So if you have questions, I'm going to break it out here for myself. Please feel free to ask questions as we go. If there's anything that's too specific, typically I invite everybody to come in for a strategy session where we go over your specific situation and we're talking about what the benefits could potentially be like for you. I have a pretty neat scenario calculator out there that tells me the best time for people to claim Social Security. So when we're all said and done, I'm going to send everybody out a list of evaluations that I do need back from everybody. It's for AFIA. They want to make sure that I didn't promise you guys 20% returns every single year or free toasters or anything like that. So I don't have any refreshments for you. Obviously, you can get up and walk and get your own refreshments. You need to take a cell phone, please do that, because I don't need you to silence your cell phones, just because it is just me. We are doing this over the web, and we're going to continue to do these things over the web for the foreseeable future, as long as the libraries remain shut down, the public school systems remain shut down, and the overall state of Maryland remains shut down, just because this is such uncertain times. The mission for AFIA is to inform and empower Americans to take control of their finances by providing comprehensive education in communities nationwide. AFIA is like I said, they are a true 501c nonprofit. They are funded through personal donations from people like you, tuition from their advanced courses. They do offer some college courses that take 2 to 3 days to complete, and they do charge a tuition for those, but I am not doing those at this point. I feel that these Social Security workshops, the tax-free retirement workshops, and some of the other ones that I will have coming up over April, May, hopefully by the end of May, June, we can start getting back into libraries. We can start doing these in person again. But they also do it through chapter sponsorships. I pay membership dues. I donate to AFIA because I think they are a great cause, providing this information to the community out there with absolutely no obligation, absolutely no cost to you. You don't have to come to a dinner workshop and sit through a sales pitch for about an hour and a half and then feel guilty about just eating a meal and then not really wanting to meet with the person you're talking with. So this is 100% up to you guys. If you want to make a donation, please go to their website, www.myafia.org. I encourage you guys to become a member of AFIA. They have so many different financial tools that are out there, and they're all in that one spot. You just go to myafia.org and then you register. The only thing that you actually need to do is use this chapter ID, which is my chapter ID. It is 4725. You guys can see it down there at the bottom of the screen. So write that number down. The chapter ID is 4725. Tons of information on there, tons of calculators. So they have a small Social Security calculator. They have time value of money, loan amortization calculators. Plus, it's a way that if you wanted to message me directly, there is a messenger app in there that sends emails to me directly. Absolutely free to join, no obligation. If you sign up, they're not going to send you a bunch of emails. They're not going to sell your information to anybody. You're not going to start getting blasted with emails from them. As I mentioned, they are a true IRS 501c. They provide educational workshops and classes in businesses and universities nationwide. All the instructors have to be licensed and trained and have minimum 5 years experience. I have been in the industry since 2004. I got my start with Merrill Lynch in Myrtle Beach and let me just see something here. Everybody should see, I guess nobody's seeing my webcam. Okay. Anyway, let's go here. I'm just going to make sure that this is what we do. Okay. Okay, so let's just do this. So, and I apologize, this is our first time doing this through this. They are a true 501c. Like I said, I got my start with Merrill Lynch down there in Myrtle Beach. I moved back to the Baltimore area because this is home. I went to work for T. Rowe Price for a number of years, and then I came over to Pro Status in 2007, and I have been here since then, and I am one of the owners of Pro Status. That is my physical company, is Pro Status Financial. Social Security to the average wage earner. What is it really to most people? And if you guys just want to bear with me for a moment here. Okay. 40% of your retirement income for most people comes from Social Security. The other 60% of income for people either comes from your pension, if you're lucky enough to have a pension out there, or your 401ks, retirement plans, IRAs, 403bs, 401as, 401cs, those type of things. That's where the income comes from, because Social Security for most people, especially in Maryland, doesn't actually cover all of your income. People always ask me, how much money do I need to have to live on in retirement? If you're looking at Forbes or Fidelity, they typically say anywhere from 60 to 85% of your working income, whatever you're spending right now. What I like to say is the number to shoot for when you enter retirement is 100% of what you're spending right now. That's the number you want to have. If you're spending $5,000 a month right now, that's the number you should shoot for in retirement, is $5,000. And if you can't do that, then we make adjustments and figure out what the reasonable number for you to have, for you to spend in retirement actually is. Social Security is pretty complex. There's over 81 different age combinations, more than 567 different sets of calculations that we need to consider when we're determining how and when to apply for the benefits. And making the wrong decision on claiming it too early could cost you well over $100,000 in your lifetime. And I'm going to go over one or two scenarios here at the end that will kind of show you. But I encourage you guys to reach out after. Set up a time. We're going to be doing everything via web appointments. It'll be one-on-one. You'll send me your information ahead of time. I'll run up some numbers for you, and then we'll kind of go over those together through a similar style go-to meeting type of thing. It's right here. So will Social Security benefits be there for you? Well, in 2009, I'm sorry, Social Security Administration, these statements that you guys used to receive in the mail, now you have to go online to get them. In 2017, they're going to begin paying out more benefits than they collect in taxes. Without changes by 2041, the Social Security Trust Fund will be exhausted, and there won't be enough money to pay for about 76 cents on the dollar of benefits. So this was in 2009. They said by 2017, they're going to run out of money. And by 2041, they're going to start paying less money to you. 2010, 1 year later, they bumped the time frame up. They said instead of 2017, it's going to be 2016. By the way, now instead of 2041, it's 2037 when we're going to run out of money, and now we're going to pay you 76 cents on the dollar. So the time frame for them really is shortening everything up here. 2014, so we're now 4 years after 2010. They said we're not even going to tell you when we're not bringing in enough money. We're just saying that now by 2033, the Social Security Trust Fund is going to be exhausted, and there's only going to be enough money to pay for 77 cents on the dollar of benefits. So they need to make changes to Social Security. Chances are they are not going to mess with most people's benefits. Anyone over age 55, no politician is going to touch your benefits because you are the voting population. Any politician that touches Social Security is basically committing career suicide, because a politician's number one job is to get reelected. That's all they want to do. That's all they care about. So if they're going to mess with somebody's Social Security benefits, it's going to be to the majority of the population that does not vote. Anyone who's age 30 and under, that's really where it's going to come from. And by simply making some changes to Social Security, if they took that full retirement age and took it from 66 to, now it's 67 for me actually, but if they moved it from 67 out to 30, from 67 out to 70, they took that early retirement from age 62 and pushed that to age 65, and they took your maximum number, the largest benefit you'll ever get, they took that from age 70 and pushed that to 72. That would really fix the problem going forward, and then we wouldn't have this problem. The biggest issue we have is that Social Security, why isn't this? Okay. Social Security was never meant for you to start collecting it at age 62 and live 20 or 30 years on it. It was meant that if you made it, when they first set it up, if you made it to age 62, let alone age 65, you died pretty soon thereafter of collecting that benefit. So this is the first person ever to collect Social Security. Her name was Ida Mae Fuller, and she was a typist. She paid into Social Security $24.75. That's how much she paid in when they introduced it. When she retired, she collected $22.54 every single month. She died at age 100, which means that over her lifetime, she collected $22,888 after only paying in $24.75. Social Security was never meant to do that. Like I said, if you actually made it to those ages back when they first set it up, you had the common courtesy to die a couple years after starting to collect it. So will Social Security be enough for you? That's the biggest question that is out there. Do you have enough other assets to create the income that you want? How are you creating those income streams? Are you making those income streams as safe and secure as they can be, so that no matter what happens in the market, I know it's been a crazy couple of weeks here, no matter what happens in the market, your income won't change if you use some type of instrument that's going to provide you a guaranteed stream of income. What other sources of income will you have after you retire? If you are lucky enough to have a pension, you work for Northrop Grumman or one of the Bells or a few various other companies out there in the state of Maryland, or if you work for the federal government, if you're a CSRS employee and you have that really nice big pension, or if you're a FERS employee and you still have a pension, it's just not as great. Is that going to be enough for you to have every single month? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And what are you going to do to create those income streams in retirement? Are any of those income streams guaranteed to provide you income throughout your retirement? That's the number one question. Do you have enough? Can you make it last? Is anything guaranteed to last? Pensions are guaranteed to last for the most part, as long as the company sponsoring that pension is financially solvent and they're putting money into that pension fund. Social Security is about as guaranteed as you can be when it comes to income. So the number one questions that retirees ask is, will I outlive my money? 54% of Americans are worried that they're not going to be able to maintain their current standard of living. This was from a poll that was done in May of 2018. The average American has saved for retirement about $55,000, because that includes all of America, not just where we are here in Maryland. That includes the Midwest states where cost of living is a lot lower, salary is a lot lower, so they don't save quite as much. How much money do you really have? That's really the big question. If you have $1 million inside of your IRA and you're in that 25% tax bracket, the government owns 25% of your IRA. So out of that $1 million, you actually only own $750,000. Because of these new tax law changes that have happened, because of what has happened in the market, now is a perfect time for anybody to be thinking about doing Roth conversions. Take that money out of your IRA right now, pay the tax on it. Keep in mind, it's at a depressed level because of what has happened in the market. Move it, and I apologize. Move it over to a Roth IRA, have it go back into the market just how it was invested before. That way, when the stock market does come back, when the market does rebound in a month or two, all that money is now going to grow tax deferred, and then it will be able to be a tax-free stream of income in retirement, because I think the taxes are going to go up in the future. I know that the current rates expire at the end of 2025. Where they go from there, they go back to the pre-Bush, the Bush era tax cuts, which were still pretty low. But with everything that's going on, all of this stimulus that they're trying to raise, giving money to America, everyone gets a $1,000 check or a $500 check or however much it happens to be when they come out with it, depending upon your income. That all has to come from somewhere. Taxes probably will go up in the future. It's best to have tax-free streams of income. This is just a fun little comic here. This is from Pickles. What's the matter, Earl? You look a little bit down. Earl says, well, according to statistics, I have a better than 50% chance of making it to the age of 87. Well, what's wrong with that? I can't afford to live that long. So there's three things that go into calculating the Social Security benefit options puzzle for everybody. Number one is determining what your Social Security benefit will be at your full retirement age. Understanding all the options that are available to you and how to maximize your lifetime benefit. That last part is really knowing when you're going to die. That's the most morbid, most real thing about this, is if you know when you're going to die, I can tell you exactly when to claim your Social Security. But nobody knows when they're going to die, so we just look at longevity on your family side. If your parents lived well into their 80s and 90s, it probably makes better sense to wait. But if nobody lived past the age of 70, it probably makes sense to take it sooner. But we will get into that. As I said, if you have any questions about any of this information as I'm going through it, please type it in to the box. I'll try to answer the questions as best I can. If there's anything that's too specific, I will encourage you to reach out to me to set up a time for us to have a one-on-one webinar. We can go over your documents, everything you have, and give you that financial picture that you're probably looking for at this point. So your Social Security statement really summarizes all of the earnings that were subject to your payroll taxes. It shows you how much you paid in and how much your employer had paid into Medicare, and it estimates your benefit based upon retiring at different ages. This is the document that says, here's how much you get at age 62, here's how much you get at your full retirement age, and here's how much you get at age 70. What it is calculating, what it is showing you is your primary insurance amount. that is the number that all your benefits are based upon. That is determined by the average of your highest 35 years of working. That's really how they calculate it. If you haven't done so already, I encourage everyone to go online and set up a Social Security account. You go to www.ssa.gov and register. It allows you to see your Social Security benefits, your Medicare benefits. You can update your address. You can change your direct deposit data if you're receiving Social Security. And this is where you get that form to have taxes withheld from your Social Security benefits, because most people end up paying taxes on their Social Security when they retire. You only pay federal taxes because Maryland does not tax your Social Security benefit, but you do pay federal taxes. That's one thing that most people don't know. All right, so now what? We're going to talk about a couple different terms here. We're going to talk about eligible versus entitled, what that actually means. We're going to talk about a little bit about the windfall elimination provision and the GPO. These are benefits that the federal employees have that does make changes to your Social Security. Talk about the COLA, which is the cost of living adjustments. We're going to talk about the claiming age, and we're going to talk about what happens if you work while receiving Social Security benefits. And finally, we're going to talk about the taxation of your benefits, spousal benefits, and then I'm going to go over really what an optimal situation can look like for people and the difference in dollar amounts that it actually makes. Like I said, at the end of this, I am going to be sending everybody an evaluation form for you to fill out. I do request that you please fill it out and send it back to me. It gives me some feedback as far as the content and how I was. This is the first webinar that we're doing through this, so please bear in mind that I am younger, but technology is not the greatest friend of me. It also gives you the opportunity to tell me whether or not you would like to have that one-on-one section where we can talk about your specific benefits. Okay, here we go. Eligible versus entitled. An eligible worker is someone who has accumulated the minimum number of credits of work for Social Security benefits and is at least 62 years old. An entitled worker is someone who has applied for their benefits, and regardless of whether or not they are receiving the benefits or they have suspended them. This part's a little tricky, but it comes into play when we're talking about spousal benefits and some common claiming strategies. WEP, it's the windfall elimination provision. If you're receiving a pension from a federal, state, or local government where they did not take Social Security taxes out on your wages, they reduce the amount of Social Security that you're actually receiving. So if you earned money and you qualified for Social Security, but you're receiving a pension that they did not tax for Social Security benefits, they will take money away from you. The government pension offset, this reduces a spouse's or widow's or widower's benefit if that spouse is receiving one of those pensions where they did not pay Social Security taxes, it reduces the benefit. So basically, if you are a CSRS employee or one of the state or local government employees where you were earning money and they were not taking out Social Security wages, if you have those 40 quarters from outside work and you're eligible to receive a benefit, they're going to take some of that benefit away from you based upon the fact that you have that nice pension. Doesn't happen to a lot of people anymore. Most of the CSRS employees are pretty much already retired, and a lot of governments, local and state governments, have done away with the pensions that truly function this way. Basically, a lot of pensions are going away. Anyway, you have to work for the federal government, and a few select other companies out there that still actually offer pensions, or you're in one of the unions that actually offers a pension out there. Cost of living adjustments. They provide inflation protection by helping maintain the purchase power of your Social Security income. Since 1975 is when they first started doing these cost of living adjustments. The average number has been 3.73. In more recent history, it's right around 2.5%. That is the number that I use when I calculate Social Security benefits. The rate at which your benefit grows, 2.5% in today's dollars. That's the number that I like to use. You can see in more recent history, back in 2016, they didn't give any single cost of living adjustment. Last year, they gave you 2.8, so it's really kind of been all over the place. 2.5%, like I said, that is the common number to use. It's a fairly reasonable number, so that's what I like to go with when I'm calculating those benefits. And if you would like to have that personal strategy session, I tell you that this is the number and this is how I run all of my numbers. So claiming age. The earliest you can claim is at age 62. Full retirement age, if you were born between 1943 and 1959, is age 66. If you were born 1955 or late, between 1955 and 1959, it is 66 and so many months. For anyone born 1960 or after, it is age 67 or age 67 for that full retirement age. And then age 70, that's the latest age. I do have some workbooks that I will send out to everybody once this is all over. That way, all the information that I'm talking about does have the workbooks do have everything in there. So let's go to the next slide here. All right, so now let's talk about the pros and cons as far as claiming everything at age 62 versus claiming at full retirement age, whatever your full retirement age is, and age 70, which is the maximum number. For all intensive purposes, I'm just calling full retirement age 65. Bear in mind that it all really depends on what year you were born in. So if you start claiming your benefit at age 62, you receive your benefits earlier. If you are going to retire at age 62 and you don't have enough income, your assets cannot provide enough income if you're not receiving a pension for you guys to meet your needs, well, then maybe you think about claiming your Social Security benefit at age 62. The downside of that is that it is the smallest monthly check you will receive. They also will reduce your benefit if you're working. If you make too much money, they take money away from you. So I'm going to go over the number that you can earn before they start taking money away. But pretty much, if you can avoid claiming your Social Security benefit before full retirement age, that is one of the better things to do. Especially if you're working, you really want to hold off on claiming your Social Security until the latest you can, because they do penalize you for taking it, and it does become taxable if you make too much money. If you claim it at full retirement age, it is a higher monthly check than it would be at age 62. They don't take any money away from you if you're working, so you can earn as much as you want once you reach full retirement age, and they don't penalize you at all. You still will get taxed on that benefit if you're working, but you're not receiving any money from age 62 to full retirement age. So it really comes into question of, when are you going to retire? If you want to retire at age 62, can you delay taking your benefit from 62 to full retirement age? Or if you're going to retire at your full retirement age, like I said, I'm just going to use age 65. If you're going to retire at age 65 and you want to start your benefit then, I don't really have a problem with doing that. I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of all the options that are out there. At age 70, this is the highest monthly check that you will receive, and there's no penalty. You can work as long as you want while claiming Social Security past age 70. They don't penalize you at all. Once again, taxes do come into play. The downside of this is there's no benefit that you receive from age 62 to 70. So if you retire at any point in there, it's, do you have enough money to bridge that gap? That's the biggest question. What source do you want to tap first? Do you want to tap Social Security first, or do you want to tap your assets? I will say that if you wait past age 70 to claim your benefit because you are still working, because you don't need the money, your benefit does not grow anymore. It'll only grow by that cost of living number. It won't grow anymore. If you're claiming your benefit and you're still working past age 70, it doesn't matter, because your benefit is not going to grow. I have a client, his name is John. John is So it's 2020. John's going to turn 96 this year. John is still working. That's right. He's 96 and he's still working. John is a caretaker for somebody that he calls the old man. The old man is 1 year older than him at age 97. One of the biggest complaints I get from John every single year is that he's still working, he's still paying into Social Security, but his benefit never changes. That's just how it goes. The only advice I ever give John is write a letter to your congressman, tell him that you're upset about that, because that's how it is set up right now. So this is just kind of a little pop quiz here. If you start claiming your benefit at age 62, at what rate is it reduced? It's reduced. So it's reduced about 35% if you start claiming your benefit at age 62. Every year you wait past age 62, your benefit grows at 6% a year. From full retirement age on, so if you are 65, every single year you don't touch your Social Security benefit, it grows at 8% per year every single year. So that's where that 8% number comes into play. It's only 6% before full retirement age, but it is 8% after full retirement age. These are some important definitions. Deemed filing means that a claimant filing for any benefit before their full retirement age must file for all benefits available to them. What this means in plain English is if you file for your Social Security benefit before your full retirement age, they're going to make you take the highest number available to you, whether that is your benefit or it is the spousal benefit. You do not have an option to choose the lesser benefit. If you file a restricted application, this is available to people who have reached their full retirement age and allows you to file for your benefit, but to restrict it. So this allows you to take a smaller dollar amount if you want to take that spousal benefit to continue to let your benefit grow and claim it at a later date. Voluntary suspension is available to workers who have reached full retirement age. Once suspended, the benefit can delay early retirement credits. Where this comes into play is if you are a married couple and your spouse is going to claim on your benefit, they're going to claim that restricted application and take the lower amount for that spousal benefit for the entire purpose of letting their benefit grow to that larger amount, you have to file for your benefit and then suspend it. Your benefit still continues to grow at 8% a year until you reach age 70. It's a lot going on, a lot of different definitions out here. This is why there's so many different calculations. This is why making the wrong decision at that wrong time can cost you over $100,000 a year. I mean, over $100,000, over $100,000 on your lifetime. Okay. When should you start taking your Social Security benefits? Like I said, the number one question I always ask is, when are you going to die? I do all my retirement plans to age 95. That is when I say you die. If you live past that point, the plans work. If you don't have longevity on your side, that is a conversation we have, and that is a factor that comes into retirement planning. But the answer to that question really depends on which one of these horses do you want to tap first. Do you want to tap into your retirement dollars first? If you're going to retire early and you want to delay taking your Social Security benefit, where are those sources of income going to come from? Are any of those sources of income guaranteed to be there? Or do you want to tap Social Security? It's up to you. If you come in, I have the habit of saying, if you come in and see me, you set up a time for us to have that one-on-one webinar, that one-on-one Zoom meeting, or whatever facility you want to use to accommodate this. We can go over the numbers and I can show you what makes the best sense for you as far as whether to touch your assets first, whether to touch your Social Security, how much money can I expect to have in retirement, how much money can I spend in retirement. Those are all topics covered in our personal strategy sessions that are absolutely complimentary to anybody who attends these workshops. All right, working and collecting Social Security benefits. If you claim Social Security anytime before full retirement age, you can only earn $17,640. For every $2 you go over that $17,640, Social Security takes away $1 in benefits. For full retirement age, if you are working in the year you turn, like I said, 65 for this purpose, you can earn $46,920 up to your birthday. If you earn anything over that, for every $3 over the limit, they take away $1 in your benefit. Once you reach full retirement age, you can earn as much money as you want. They don't take away any benefit. So, like I said, if your birthday is in July, let's just call it July, you're turning 65 in July. If for some reason you have started Social Security before then, you started Social Security on January 1st of that year, you can earn $46,920 from January to July, and it won't affect your Social Security benefit. So after you reach your full retirement age, once you reach that month, that July month, because you turned 65, you can earn as much money as you want. You're only limited to that $46,920 leading up to your birthday for that year. Fairly confusing, but it all kind of goes back to the point of while you are working, I strongly discourage people to start collecting their Social Security benefit because there's penalties that they can take money away from you. It can throw you into a higher tax bracket, and you're going to pay tax on them, and it can give you a big surprise come tax time. I'm always about paying the least amount of taxes legally possible, and this is one of those ways to help reduce your overall taxable income. All right, provisional income. This is the calculation that happens to determine how much of your Social Security you are going to pay tax on. It's called provisional income. It is the sum of all of your income, including those tax-free municipal bonds. So those municipal bonds that you bought that you don't have to pay federal tax on because they're obligations to the state of Maryland, well, those are included as part of the calculation, plus half of your Social Security income. So what does this mean in actual real terms here? So what we do is we take half of your Social Security. So if you're earning $20,000 a year in Social Security, you take $10,000 of that number, and then add in any wages that you might have earned, add in any distributions you've taken out of 401ks and IRAs, add in the interest and dividends from your brokerage accounts, capital gains from sales, any money you're getting from pensions, and any taxable portions of inheritance. You add all those things together, and if those numbers for a married couple are between $32,000 and $44,000 a year, you're going to pay tax on up to 50% of your benefit. So if we're taking that scenario where you're earning $20,000 a year, you're going to pay tax at your ordinary income level on that $10,000. So if you're in the 25% tax bracket, you're going to pay 25% tax on $10,000. If you're over age, if the total of that provisional income is over $44,000, you're going to pay tax on up to 85% of your Social Security. Your ordinary income rate, 25% of 85% of your benefit. So it doesn't make sense to claim Social Security while you are working because most people in the state of Maryland are earning over $44,000 a year as a married filing joint couple. Pretty much all of my clients, with few exceptions, those that we do some pretty intense tax planning with, pretty much everybody pays tax on their Social Security on the federal level to some varying degree, somewhere between 50 and 85%. So they haven't changed these numbers since 1985. And this is a unique scenario here. So what it's saying is that if it's a married couple that requires $40,000 a year to maintain your standard of living. So at $40,000 a year, they're paying tax on 50% of their Social Security benefit as a married filing joint couple. If one of those spouses passes away and the surviving spouse still needs that $40,000 a year to live on, because when it comes to retirement planning, the same number that the two of you are spending together is the same number that you should be planning on the survivor of you spending. Yes, when one spouse passes away, some expenses go down, but there are things that you're going to be spending money on that the other spouse was probably taking care of around the house. I'm particularly handy around the house, so if something happened to me, my wife would have to pay somebody to come in and do her honey-do list. Things like that. If one of the spouses, my business partner Mike, his wife mows the lawn, takes care of everything outside of the house, if she passed away, he would have to pay somebody to come in and do all that stuff because he just doesn't do it. So if that same surviving spouse still needs that $40,000 a year, she was paying tax on 50% of it. Now she's going to pay tax on 85% of that benefit simply because she went from a married filing joint to a married filing to a single tax filing. So the bottom line is they need to change these numbers. I don't think that they're going to, but it would be nice because for most people, it costs more than $44,000 a year to live, especially in this area, in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area. How do we reduce or eliminate tax on Social Security? This is quite honestly a simple one. Postpone receiving your Social Security benefits by either waiting to file or by suspending your claim for later years in which your other sources of income are lower. As I said before, most people think that taxes are going to go down in retirement. That's not normally the case because if you're spending $5,000 a month right now, that's the number you want to have to go into retirement. So your tax level is probably not going to change because you're going to need that same level of income coming in to give you that $5,000 a month after taxes. Reduce your sources of income calculating provisional income. Basically, that means don't earn as much, don't take as much out of your 401k, don't earn as much as interest and dividends, don't realize capital gains. Can't really do anything about pension payments if you're receiving a pension. Same thing with inheritance. Really what it comes down to is how can you do proper tax planning? And the advantage we have right now is these tax brackets are so wide. A lot more income fits into these tax brackets. Tax brackets are much lower now thanks to the Trump tax cuts. And with this pullback in the market, you can move over more money because you now have a depressed level and have it growing on that Roth IRA tax deferred side. So you can have tax-free income in retirement because money that comes out of Roth IRAs does not count towards your provisional income in retirement. So tax planning and delaying taking your benefit, those are the two things that we can do to help reduce or eliminate tax on Social Security. I have clients that did their taxes about 3-4 weeks ago. Right now they have about $70,000 worth of income thanks to the tax plan that we did. They paid $137 in federal taxes on $70,000 and $0 in state. That is the benefit of having an advisor who understands the tax code. Whether you're working with somebody right now and if they're not doing your taxes, you need to think about that. Having someone who understands the tax code and how various investments can impact your tax return and impact your Social Security, that's a big thing. All right. We're going to talk about spousal benefits. We're going to talk about a file and restrict strategy. I'm going to talk about the do-over or reset strategy. And I'm going to talk about the start, stop, restart strategy. This is typically the time I take a break if we were doing this live and in person. But I'm just going to go right through that. So like I said, spousal benefit, file and restrict, do-over, or reset strategy, and start, stop, restart strategy here. Okay. So spousal benefits. In order to claim a spousal benefit, you have to be at least 62 years old or have a qualifying child, and you have to have been married for at least 1 year. If you elect to receive your spousal benefit before your full retirement age, this is where I talk about it never really makes sense to claim your benefit before full retirement age because your spousal benefit will be permanently reduced for the rest of your life. When your spouse passes away, the benefit that you receive will still be reduced. If you claim your spousal benefit early, you cannot switch to that higher benefit You cannot let your benefit continue to grow until age 70 because you can't switch. You're stuck with that number. So regardless of the scenario, it never really makes sense to start claiming Social Security early unless that is the plan and you're aware of everything that is happening. All right. If you start your own regular benefit early, when you reach full retirement age, you're not going to be able to switch to the full retirement amount. They do give you a little bit more, but it's only the XX portion. They only give you a little bit. So anytime, bottom line, anytime you start claiming your benefit early, there's a lot of cons that go along with that. There's not so many pros that go along with that. The file and restrict strategy that I'm going to talk about, its last use is January 2nd, 2024. Thanks to the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, they took away a lot of different exemptions. There used to be so many cool things that we could do, but the strategy that I'm talking about goes away January 2nd of 2024 here. So if you are divorced, you are entitled to a spousal benefit for Social Security if you are at least age 62. If you were married for at least 10 continuous years, you remain unmarried, and your ex-spouse is entitled, meaning that they are eligible for Social Security. You can be independently entitled without your ex-spouse being full retirement age if they're at least 62, and a couple other benefits here. This doesn't really apply to a lot of people, but the big thing to take away from this is if you claim spousal benefits on an ex-spouse, it does not impact their benefit at all. They won't even know that you're claiming that benefit because you're not taking anything away from them when you do this. Okay. If you're a widow or widower, you're eligible to collect either your own benefits or 100% of your deceased spouse's, whichever is greater. What this means is if one spouse is collecting $2,000 a month and the other spouse is collecting $1,500 a month, when that higher earner spouse passes away, the spouse who was receiving $1,500 a month loses their benefit of $1,500 and steps up to that higher amount of $2,000 a month. So that's one of those things you need to plan for in retirement, because if you think about that, those two spouses together earning $3,500 a month in Social Security benefits, they're spending that money on their day-to-day living. If one spouse goes away, or one spouse passes away, all of a sudden they go from earning $3,500 a month to $2,000 a month. Oh, and by the way, now instead of paying tax on 50% of that benefit, you're going to pay tax on 85% of that benefit. So that's the type of thing that you need to plan for in retirement. How are you going to replace those streams of income should something like that happen to you? Whether you use an annuity, whether you use life insurance, or whether you just set aside money to make sure that the income streams are going to be there for the rest of both of your lives, regardless of how long either of you actually live. So you have to be at least age 60 years old. If you claim that spousal benefit before full retirement age, they reduce it. Like I said, anytime you claim Social Security early, they penalize you. You have to be married for at least 9 months, and you have to remain unmarried after the age of 60. Once you get remarried, it does really change things. Excuse me. So you want to maximize the lifetime and survivor benefit. The number of American centenarians back in 2010 was 53,364 people over age 100. That's a large number. 82% were women, 17% were men. And statistically speaking, women outlive men for 5 to 10 years. It's because men are stupid. We do stupid things. That really shortens our life expectancy. The life expectancy for a 65-year-old male is age 83. The life expectancy for a 65-year-old female, this is as of the 2010 data, so these numbers are a little bit bigger now, was age 85. And if you're married at 65, regardless of whether or not you are happily married, Simply the fact that you are married gives you a 25% chance of one spouse living to age 25. So there's a 50% chance one of you makes to age 92. There's a 25% chance one of you makes it to 97. And there's about a 10% chance one of you lives to age 100. So the longer you can wait to claim your Social Security, the better off you are, because you want to maximize that dollar amount that you're receiving for the rest of your life. So this is a file and restrict spousal benefit case study. This assumption is being made that Joe and Cindy are the same age. They turn age 62 the same year. They turn 66, 70, all the same year. This is a hypothetical example. These numbers they're realistic, but they are made up. Joe and Cindy are not real people. I do assume a 2.5 inflation rate for cost of living adjustment when I start talking about these numbers here. Okay, so we can do what's called a deemed spousal benefit. Basically, what that means is that they both retire at age 66. They both claim the maximum amount of benefit available to them at age 66. What we are saying is Joe takes his full benefit of $2,416, and Cindy takes the spousal benefit at the same time of $1,208. They both claim it at age 66. They both live till age 90. Over their lifetime, they're going to collect $1.3 million here. A different way of doing this is saying that Joe is going to do a restricted application once he reaches age 66, which means he's going to file for his benefit, but then he's going to say, no, I don't want it. Don't pay me my benefit. This allows Cindy to claim the spousal benefit here if she wants to. So that's what we do for Cindy. She takes the $1,208. I got this one mixed up. She claims on her benefit $982 a month from Social Security. And then Joe files for his full benefit of age at age 70. Once Cindy then reaches age 70, she gets an excess. Her benefit gets bumped up the difference between these two numbers. So she all of a sudden gets the difference between 1208 and 1396. The bottom line difference in here is that the difference in these numbers, just by changing up how these strategies are elected, is about $152,000. I have software that if you want to have that personal strategy session, you want to do one of these one-on-one webinars, and you send me your Social Security statements ahead of time, I can plug these numbers in and I can show you the benefit for what you think you want to do versus the optimal thing to do, and the difference between those two numbers and how big of a difference that it actually makes. There's something called a do-over strategy. This is something you can do once in a lifetime, once and one time only. You have to do this within 1 year of claiming for your benefit. Basically, what you're saying is, I claim my benefit at age 62. I thought I wanted to retire at age 62. I retired at age 62. I decide that I want to go back to work. I found something else I want to do. My employer brought me back because they needed me back. I don't want my money. As long as you're within 1 year of starting that benefit, you can say, I changed my mind, take all my money back. You pay them back, you restart the period. You basically reset it. Your benefit then continues to grow every single year until the next time you want to claim your benefit, whether it's your full retirement age or 67 or 68 or 9 or age 70, whatever it happens to be. Basically, you change your mind, give all the money back, and let your benefit continue to grow. There is something called a start, stop, restart strategy, which is not many people do this, but it is an option that is out there. You can do it really for that same reason. But what this is you can do it at any time, but you have to be at least full retirement age. So this is not that once in a lifetime thing. You can do this. You know, I started claiming my benefit at age 65. I'm now a year and a half into claiming my benefit. I changed my mind. I don't want it anymore. What you're doing is you're saying, stop my benefit for now, and now continue to grow whatever amount I've been receiving at 8% a year every single year until age 70, because you can wait till age 70. And if you wait till then, your benefit will be 32% higher. Like I said, there's no growth beyond age 70. It never makes sense to wait beyond age 70 to claim your Social Security benefit, especially now that RMD is now pushed out to age 72. There used to be sometimes where we'd say, let's just hold off on taking Social Security for 1 year, get that first RMD payment in, and then go from there. But no additional growth beyond age 70. Okay, now what? Are you going to outlive your money? That's the biggest question out there. 44% of baby boomers and Gen Xers are projected to lack adequate income for their basic retirement and healthcare expenses. It really comes down to, Social Security is really 40% of that income puzzle. Where are the other sources of incomes going to be? Excuse me. How much are you spending a month right now? Because that is the number that you should really shoot for in retirement, so that lifestyle does not change. That same number is what you want to have when one spouse passes away for that same reason. Just because one spouse passes away doesn't mean lifestyle has to change. Life will change, and it's definitely a new normal, but lifestyle shouldn't change. There shouldn't be cuts that have to be made unless that's something that both of you agree on. What do you anticipate your retirement income needs will be? Like I said, anywhere from 60 to 85% is really what the quote unquote experts actually out there say. I like to plan 100%. Whatever you're spending now is how much you should have to spend in retirement. That's the number one goal when lifestyle doesn't change. How do you close the gap between the two? With your Social Security being 40%, where are those other streams of income going to be? How do we create those guaranteed streams of income in retirement? That's the number one goal. You want your income to be guaranteed. Social Security is about as guaranteed as it can be. Your pensions are about as guaranteed as they can be. How do you bridge that gap, and how do you make it that guaranteed income in retirement? Okay. So when I'm going to send everybody, like I said, I'm going to send you via email. I'm going to send you a evaluation form. I do want them back from everybody. I'm also going to send everybody a budget worksheet. This, regardless of whether or not you want to have a personal one-on-one session with me, I encourage everybody to fill these things out just so you get an idea of how much it is you're spending a month right now. When you come see me, I want to see this number. I don't care what you're spending your money on. I don't care if you're spending $200 a month on the casino, or you're spending $200 a month at the nail salon or the boat or whatever it really happens to be. I don't care. It's not my job to tell people where and how they spend their money. I only do that if I absolutely have to, when you don't have enough assets to meet the income goals you want. What I really care about is I don't want, I think I'm spending about $4,000 a month. I want to know the actual number. That way there is no surprise in retirement. So like I said, if you want to have a personal one-on-one strategy, please just let me know. You can shoot me an email. Everybody has my email because I sent everybody the link to this webinar through their email. So you can I'm going to email everybody the evaluation form. If you want to come see me, please let me know. Other than that, please just fill out that evaluation form, good, bad, or otherwise. That way I can send it to AFIA. That way they know, like I said, I didn't promise you free toasters, or I didn't say I'm going to guarantee you 20% returns a year, anything like that. They want to know who I'm talking to. If you come see me, in the workbooks that I'm going to send everybody, this budget worksheet is on page 22. I'm going to send this to you as well. There was a question here, and I will answer it. Your money has to stay in the Roth IRA. The earnings have to stay inside of that Roth IRA for 5 years if you do a Roth conversion. Your contributions can come out at any time tax-free because you've already paid tax on that money. It's the earnings that has to stay in there for at least 5 years after the conversion. If you're doing contributions, if it's just a Roth IRA that you've contributed to, as long as it's been open for 5 years, all the money can come out tax-free. But if you want to email me that question as well, we can talk about it more specifically to you personally here. Another question. I was widowed at the age of 60 and I'm currently receiving a reduced amount of my deceased husband's Social Security benefit. Is my understanding I can claim my Social Security benefit at full retirement age. So yes, you can claim your benefit at full retirement age. It is going to be reduced because of the early claiming. But that's a specific question, Teresa, that if you wanted to have a one-on-one conversation, we could kind of go over that specifically for you. How do you close the gap? That's really the question here, between what sources of other sources of retirement income do you have? Money you have in Roth IRAs, 401ks, 403bs. The benefit to having money there is that you get that potential match. You have some control. You can choose the investments based on what they give you. The contributions are tax deductible, meaning you don't pay tax on it going in, aside from a Roth IRA. The downside is there's always market risk. Any money you put there in the market, any money you take out is 100% taxable and goes into that calculation for how much your Social Security is taxable. And you are the one taking the risk for the investment decisions and the income distributions. If you have a pension plan, you're lucky enough to have one. They're fully funded by your employer. Your benefit is known. It doesn't really change. The downside is there's only one plan. You don't choose what they've invested your money in. Some pensions don't give you any of that cost of living. They don't give you that inflation adjustment. And all that money that comes out, for the most part, is 100% taxable to you. Money you have in a brokerage account, whether it's in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, whatever it happens to be, you maintain all the control. That's the pro there. You can get tax advantage forms of income by making it long-term capital gains rates. You only pay taxes on the earnings, which are a big thing. The downside is you still have to pay taxes. There's always market risk. There's reinvestment risk if you're buying CDs or bonds or anything like that. They don't have any guaranteed principal protection, or they're not guaranteeing any growth or any type of income. Once again, you're taking all that risk. Here's that dirty word out there. Annuities, deferred or immediate. A deferred annuity means you put money in now, it grows, some form of growth. You take money out at a later date. An immediate annuity means that you put money in today and say in exchange for that, take all my money, don't give me any money in the future, just pay me an income stream. Variable annuities, those are the ones out there that Ken Fisher talks about and Susie Orman talk about, and those are the annuities that they hate. I hate them too because they cost a ton of money. Those things anywhere from 4 to 6% a year to be in them. Fixed annuities they function essentially like a CD. If you're buying a 5-year CD, it's going to pay you nowadays 1.3%. The CD is FDIC insured. The fixed annuity, you can buy that same 5-year fixed annuity. It's going to pay you a slightly higher rate of interest because it is not FDIC insured. And then you have an index annuity. The benefit to an index annuity is that stock market goes up, you get to participate in some portion of the upside of the market, whether they're capping how much they're giving you, whether they're giving you 90% of what the market does, whether they're giving you 110 or 150 of the market. Some type of market participation is what they give you. In exchange for that, they're saying you're never going to see a down number. You put in 100,000, if the stock market goes down for that next year, you have that same $100,000. That's the benefit to those things. The downside of these things is they require a long-term commitment. You can maintain control over the account. You can choose the investments. You can choose the index that it's in. If it's that money that's in a brokerage account, you can defer the taxes on that on the earnings. You can even just keep rolling it to something else every single year. I mean, every time it matures, and defer the taxes. And some of these things offer guaranteeing your principal, guaranteeing your growth, and guaranteeing you some type of income stream in retirement that is a lifetime income stream. So there's pluses and minuses to everything out there. It's just a matter of understanding what you have, why you have it, and how to make it work to the best of your ability. Permanent life insurance, this is whole life insurance. I'm not talking about term. I'm not talking about the group life policies that you guys have through work. You control the account. There's potential inside of whole life and index universal life. The potential is in there for us to generate tax-free streams of income out of that money. There's no RMDs required. If you don't use the money when you pass away, you're leaving a death benefit. That's the whole purpose of having that life insurance for most people. You can even add riders to whole life or index universal life insurance policy that let you use a portion of that death benefit for long-term care purposes. It takes time to get these things up and running. If you want to generate tax-free streams of income out of a life insurance policy, it's about a 5 to 7 year commitment for how long you have to have that money in there for it to make sense. You can always get your money out anytime before then, but if you take your money out, it ruins that tax-free income plan there. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be sending everybody a evaluation form. Please fill it out. If you want to have a one-on-one consultation, please just respond to the email with your evaluation form and indicate that you want to have those consultations. We close our office to all foot traffic, all in-office appointments. I'm really just doing a lot of tax returns right now. So there is quite a bit of availability where there was not a lot of availability in the past due to clients coming in for their taxes, people coming in for investment appointments. But please, please, please fill out those evaluation forms. Send them back to me. If you want an appointment, please let me know. I am not going to chase you for appointments. If you say you want an appointment and we set something up, that's really what I go with. But please send back those evaluation forms. If you want to follow AFIA on social media, you can follow their Facebook page. You can go to their LinkedIn page. They tweet, they do Instagram, and they have a blog as well. Everything here, all this material was brought to you by AFIA, the American Financial Education Alliance. Please fill out those evaluation forms. They get mad at me if not everybody fills those things out. That's why when we do these in person, I have Dawn, and Dawn really makes sure everybody fills them out for me. She's really great about that. If you want to come see me, if you want to have that conversation over the web, we can do that. If you want to wait until this all potentially blows over and set an appointment up sometime in May or June, we can certainly do that as well. But everybody has my email. Please shoot me an email if you have any questions. Thank you so much for attending. I know this is not the ideal situation, but this is probably the norm for a lot of people. Everything's being done. I'm doing it from my home office here, actually my wife's home office. But thank you for attending. Any questions, please shoot me an email. You can respond to the email that I'm going to send you guys tomorrow with those evaluation forms in there. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.